Okay, so question number 2 says that simplify and leave the answer in a rectangular form. So basically we have to simplify this complex number here. Z is equals to 2 an angle of 45 degrees multiply by 4 at an angle of 60 degrees, all divided by 6 at an angle of 30 degrees. So basically they say we must simplify this expression and leave the answer in a rectangular form. So basically the expression is given in a polar form, and then we simplify it and then we convert it to a rectangular form. Okay, so basically now here when we are multiplying when we are multiplying polar form, we multiply the coefficients and then we add the exponent. Actually not the exponent there, the angles. So we're gonna say 4 multiplied by 2, 4 multiplied by 2, 2 multiplied by 4, 4 multiplied by 2 is gonna be 8. And then now we're gonna do what? We're gonna add the angles. So it's gonna be 45 plus 60. So 45 plus 60 is gonna be 105. So it's 105 degrees, all divided by 6 at an angle of 30 degrees. Okay, so remember when you divide polar exponents, what do? You divide the coefficients, and then what the coefficients, which means the resultant, and then you do what? You subtract the angles. So it's going to be 8 divided by 3, which is going to give us 4. 8 divided by 6, which is going to give us 4 over 3. And then with the angle, what do? We say 105, the top angle minus the bottom angle. So it's going to be 105 minus 30. 105 minus 30, which will give us 75 degrees. Okay, so now this is what? This is our simplified complex number, which is Z. But now they said we must leave the answer in a rectangular form. Okay, so remember, the rectangular form consists of the real part and the imaginary part. So let me just say, for example, here we have Z. It consists of a real part plus and imaginary part. Okay, so normally when you have your resultant like this, that means for you to get the real part, you will have to say the resultant multiplied by cos of the angle. And then when you get the imaginary part, you will say what? You also say there is J multiplied by the resultant sine of the angle. Okay, so now here we have the resultant as 4 over 3 and the angle as 75. So what we're going to do, we're just going to substitute there to say our resultant is what? Is 4 over 3 cos of what is the angle? The angle is 75 degrees. And then the imaginary part, it always has a J. And then the R is also 4 over 3. Sine of how much? Sine of 75. So now the what? The complex number, or the Z, the answer of the Z in a rectangular form, it will be 4 over 3 cos of 75. So make sure when you put the angles, if it's in degrees, you make sure your calculator is in degrees. If it's in radians, you make sure your calculator is in radians. So the answer here, it will be 0.35. And then when you put for sine, so you say sine, and therefore the answer, it will be plus J 1.29. Okay, so this will be the final answer. If they say you must simplify and then you leave the answer in the polar form, you will have left the answer here. But then if they say simplify and then leave your answer in a rectangular form, you have to work it out like this, and then you get the answer as a rectangular form.